The NFL draft is done and over, and I am going to be breaking down each and every team and grading out their draft. So check back every day, because one team I will do every single day, and I'll have it up here on YouTube for you to watch. We'll go over every prospect that they drafted, as well as some key undrafted free agents that they may bring in. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section, and I'll be sure to address them for you. Also, just be aware on my draft grades, no one fails the draft, especially right after it. Even no one in this draft is going to get a D or an F from me, because everyone had a talent. Everyone did something. So if you think the grades are a little bit high, that's just me not going to too much extremes. And maybe in 3 or 4 years, when we look back on this draft, then we can see who really succeeded and who really failed. So sit back, relax, enjoy me as I break down every single team this year. The draft expert, Shane Hallam, shows off his knowledge. Writing mock drafts, prospects from the best college. Breaking down tape, he might develop a man crush. Tearing up guys, taking questions in a rush. Comparisons, learning lessons, Shane saves the day, oy vey. Hulk or Banner, doesn't matter. Listen, cause here's who can play. Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about the Oakland Raiders and going over their draft. And usually the Raiders are a team that comes away with some head-scratching picks, and some picks you always think, hey, Al Davis, what are you doing? But this draft was a little bit different, especially in the first 2 days. And their first-round pick was Rolando McClain, linebacker out of Alabama. And he is a very good player, someone I was very impressed with, had some injury issues that were unknown until the draft process. And so it looked like he took some plays off. That was a major knock on him. Took some plays off, didn't go sideline to sideline real well. But he's an explosive player, especially up the middle, making those tackles, making those plays. I like the fit. They would trade Kirk Morrison later in the draft to Jacksonville. He's going to be an instant replacement. He should rack up a lot of tackles, should do really well for the Oakland Raiders. So I really love that Rolando McClain pick for them. In the second, they took Lamarr, defensive tackle out of Texas. And this was one of my underrated players, one player I really liked. He used to play running back in high school, very athletic for a big man. He can get around there. He can play 3 technique. He can play 5 technique. He can play a bunch of different positions for them if they do decide to move to a 3-4. So I really like the Lamarr pick. I think him and Richard Seymour complement each other very well. They're going to be 2 solid players inside, and that was a place that was lacking for the Oakland Raiders. They traded for their pass rushers in Wembley and Grooves. Now they have Lamarr there as kind of a pass-rushing under tackle that they can use. In the third, they took Veldheer, offensive tackle out of Hillsdale, another one of my underrated players. So they're really gathering up guys that I like. He's a small school guy, but very big and very athletic. And that is what they're probably looking for. They want to find a left tackle, so they went after Veldheer in the third. And then in the fourth, they took Campbell, offensive tackle out of Maryland. A guy that a lot of people pegged, said, well, Al Davis is going to fall in love with his measurables. He's going to take him in the first round. Well, he took him in the 4th round, and that's pretty good value for this guy. Yes, it would have been a reach. I would have bashed the pick if it went in the 1st. In the 4th, I'm not. Campbell, got to watch him here in Maryland and really see what he did. He looked like a 3rd or 4th rounder on tape, to be honest with you, but he has all the athleticism. He has the physical tools. We saw that at the combine. His kick-out drills look great at the combine. Guy that practices so well, but doesn't translate to the game. So you give him a coach like Tom Cable, who's an offensive line genius in a way, and let's see what he can do with him. Because if he can turn Campbell to a franchise left tackle, it would be scary what Campbell can do. So I really like those 2 picks, because what it does is say, okay, we have 2 very good athletic players, need a little bit developing. If one of them works out, we're going to have a bookend left tackle for years. Now, they also traded for Jason Campbell in this draft, and I want to touch on that for a bit, because I think it's a key part of this draft process for them. Jason Campbell's going to come in and be the starting quarterback. It's going to give him an instant upgrade over Jamarcus Russell, who's now cut. And I think Jason Campbell, that's a great investment as well. So they give away Morrison, get Campbell. I think it's really going to help him. Also in the 4th, the pick they got from Morrison, they took Jacoby. And here's Al Davis shining through. Jacoby, one of the fastest players, if not the fastest player in this draft class. He's a guy that was a world-class athlete, world-class sprinter at Clemson. And to be honest with you, I think it was a little bit overvalued here. They're just going to go in the 4th and the 5th based on speed and upside, but they have so many down-the-field threats in Oakland. I feel like they need another type of wide receiver. They just have so many of these guys, the Lewis Murphys, the Johnny Lee Higgins, the Darius Hayward-Bay they got last year. So I'm not sure if Ford gives them anything more than Lee Higgins gives them, but it's a typical Al Davis pick. In the 5th, they got Walter McFadden, cornerback out of Auburn, a combine snub, a guy I really liked. You watch him in that bowl game against Northwestern. He was picking off balls left and right, taking them back for 6. Very good cover corner. I think Walter McFadden was underrated and should have had a combine invite and could have went much higher than this. I think he's going to be a very good reserve corner for the Raiders. In the 6th, they took Travis Goethel out of Arizona State. A guy that's a little bit undersized, only about 240 pounds, plays inside. You can move, probably going to move him outside, have him rush the passer a little bit, make some tackles. A good special teams player to get in the 6th. In the 7th, they took Jeremy Ware, cornerback out of Michigan State, and looks like they're looking for their speedster here as well. Guy that ran a 4.37 at his pro day, very fast, very quick, but probably another reserve cornerback, someone that's not going to make an immediate impact. He's not very polished, and he needs a lot of work if he wants to make some impact on the field. Their last pick was Stevie Brown, safety out of Michigan, a guy that's going to have to make that move, probably not going to play that linebacker spot that he played at Michigan. Not a very good cover guy, but a very good tackler, someone that will be in the box for them. So I think Stevie Brown's another special teams type of player, a good player that could fit in with Oakland. So as a whole, we're going to give this draft an A-. And that's pretty high for Oakland in recent years. I think they got some instant contributors, and I think they addressed the needs they had to. They got a starting middle linebacker, Rolando McClain. They got a starting D tackle in Lamarr Houston, a great pick, and a pick and position they needed. They got 2 left tackles. If one of them works out, it's going to be such an upgrade for their team in Veldheer and Bruce Campbell. And then they went for a little more upside here with Jacoby Ford, with Walter McFadden. I think they may find one of these guys in the later rounds may turn into at least a rotational player. So I think they added depth. They added to their team. I think it's an A- type of team for me. I like what they did. I like the draft, and I think it's going to bump them up a little bit. I think they're going to be able to compete with Kansas City and Denver, especially with Jason Campbell there. We'll see how they do. In terms of undrafted free agents, there wasn't too much that struck my eye. Manase Tonga, fullback out of BYU, I like him. He's a guy that I think can make an impact as a fullback. He's kind of more of a rusher, up the gut type of player. I'm not sure if he's going to make the team. We'll see. And then Alex Parsons, offensive guard at Cal. I like him. I think he can be a solid reserve guard. So those are just 2 guys that we'll see if they make an impact for the Raiders. But overall, A-, like what they did. Check back tomorrow for the Pittsburgh Steelers.